Welcome to another video, man. I am recording this video Thursday, June 6th. But by the time you see this, it's going to be a week later. It's going to be Thursday, June 13th. But don't worry, because tomorrow we're getting back to the grind, man. Whew. So right now I'm in Georgia, so say hello to Pastor Mikey. So, I want to talk about somebody. This is going to be the incredible comeback of Jared Goff. Because I was thinking about, man, I really want to get back to the videos where, like, I would go back in history, because usually I only do Saints. But I'm like, what if I do something different? What if I talk? So then I'm basically remembering the playoffs, and I'm like, well, we know Mahomes' story. We know Purdy's story. But we don't really talk about Jared Goff that much. We don't. So I'm thinking, and this might be the perfect time to do it. Knowing that he could have been Super Bowl champion this year. So let's start. In the 2016 draft, the Rams traded it up and they got their guy with the first pick in Jared Goff. The first couple years go by and it's up and down. You know, they made the playoffs, but nobody really saw the Rams as a real threat. Man. But then that's when the Rams were able to get their... Okay, yeah, we'll get to that later. Where was I? Okay, yeah. The Rams. They drafted Goff with the first pick in the 2016 NFL draft, so that would have been like 8 years ago. And the first couple seasons were shaky, but then 2017 he turned it around, led the Rams to, I believe it was like a 10-6, 9-7 type of record. And they got bounced out in the first round by the Falcons, but that gave them hope that maybe something's there. Cause if we look at Jared Goff's, if we look at his numbers and stuff, so you see his rookie season, he only had over 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, 7 picks. So I'm assuming he only played late, or he got hurt or something. I don't know. I don't know how he only threw 5 touchdowns and 7 picks, but he only threw over 1,000 yards. So I'm assuming he wasn't playing. But that was kind of a shaky rookie season. Yeah, he barely played. I'm assuming there's no way that there's a 16-game season and you only throw that much numbers. So I'm assuming that you didn't play a 16-game season. But yeah, more interceptions than touchdowns is now how you want to start a season. But Jared Goff's always been this way. Or your career, I should say. But Jared Goff, he's always been like this. He's always been a risky taker. So let's look at his interception numbers. 7, 7, 12, 16, 13, 8, 7, and 12. Jared Goff's the lowest interception number that he's thrown in the season was 3 times in 2016, 17, and 2022 when he's only thrown 7 interceptions. But in 2016, Rams got Jared Goff with the first pick, right? Okay, he gets thrown under the bus kind of in 2016. But then 2017, like I said, he hits a resurge under new head coach Sean McVay. Him and Jared Goff was able to turn the Rams around. Because then in 2017, Goff threw for 3,800 yards, 28 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. 21 more touchdowns than interceptions is a pretty good stat. And they make the playoffs where they eventually get bounced. But then 2018, which is a season Saints fans want to forget. But Jared Goff, we have to admit, he was playing pretty good that season. You know, he had 4,600 yards, nearly 4,700, 32 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. Yeah, and I already talked about the interception number, so. But they were able to make the Super Bowl off of a controversial penalty. But you know what? I'm not even going to. This is a video about Jared Goff, not about the. You know what I'm trying to talk about. I'm not even going to mention what it's called. But you know, they beat the Saints to go to the Super Bowl. And they play the Patriots, where the Patriots were just like, they just had the better defense, and the Rams just couldn't get nothing going. But that gave Rams fans hope that Jared Goff could be that quarterback that they all thought he could be. Then 2019 hits, and that's when Jared Goff kind of plummeted. Where that's when the inconsistency started happening. Where Jared Goff, he would have a decent game, and then a good game, but then he would have a game that made you want to take out your eyeballs. But he had 4,600 yards, 22 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. JG. Those are numbers that just spell average. Definitely not what they thought was going to happen in 2018 when they went to the Super Bowl. But then 2020 hits, and it marks the end of an era. And also in 2019, they also missed the playoffs, by the way. But then 2020 ends an era in Los Angeles, as then his yards went down, his touchdowns went down. He got his interceptions under control. Well, he didn't get his interceptions under control. He just threw less of them, but where he threw 3,900 yards, 20 touchdowns to 13 picks. Then here's when the shakeup happens. The Los Angeles Rams traded away Jared Goff plus draft capital to the Detroit Lions to receive Matthew Stafford and maybe a draft pick or two. So basically, Matthew Stafford goes to the Rams. Jared Goff goes to the Lions. So Jared Goff hoping for a fresh start in Detroit. He's been there for 3 years now, which is more than a lot of people thought was going to happen. In 2021 with the Lions, 3,200 yards, 19 touchdowns, 8 picks. Didn't really have that. He was decent. He didn't really have that spark that he was hoping to have. Then in 2022, for the Lions, he got back up there. But we got to explain how this happened before I talk about the numbers and stuff. This is how Jared Goff actually became a good quarterback in Detroit starting in 2022. Dan Campbell. I know he arrived in 2021. Which is a year before what I'm talking about. But Dan Campbell is your new head coach, right? And Jared Goff, I feel like, kind of adores Dan Campbell as a coach. I know what y'all like to be thinking. Jared Goff. He was able to make men's work out of little toys, if you know what I mean. Where he was not granted a good team. Tyrell Williams was this man's number one receiver until Amon-Ra St. Brown started hitting his stride. I'm not gonna lie, I knew who Amon-Ra St. Brown was. That's actually a guy I wanted the Saints to draft late in the fourth to seventh round. Instead, we took Kawan freaking Baker. We took Kawan Baker over Amon-Ra St. Brown. Ain't that so? Bro, we could have had Chris Olave, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I know he's gone now, but we could have also had Michael Thomas and Rashid Shaheed and even Jarvis Landry on the same receiving corps for one season. That would have fed families. So yeah. But then 2022. I don't don't even know why. I think I was just happy that we drafted a wide receiver, and that's why I was happy that we got Quan Baker. Yeah. But, I don't know if Amon-Ra was still on the board when the Saints took Baker. But we could have at least tried to trade up, or at least took him earlier. We didn't even have to wait till the 7th round. Instead, we settled for Quan freaking Baker. But anyways, back to the Lions. Look, I'm a passionate Saints fan, okay? They call me Hurricane Mike for a reason, so you're going to get that when I talk about something that I'm passionate about. But then 2022, it looked like the Lions were like 1-8 or 1-7. It was something crazy. Like they had like one win at midseason. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, great. All right, Jared Goff, you had a good run. You started playing. You played better than last season, but we're going to bring in a new quarterback. But then that didn't happen. They're like, all right, Bryce Young, let's see how he can do in this offense next season. That didn't happen. Jared Goff started going crazy. The Lions are like 1-6 at midseason. And they finished the season 9-8. They ended Aaron Rodgers' tenure as a Packer. Aaron Rodgers' last career pass as a Packer ended it ended as an interception to the Lions, to Kirby Joseph. But they still missed the playoffs because the Seahawks got a game-winning field goal against the Rams. But that was about pride that day. And then 2023. Now Lions fans have expectations. Basically, you know how the Saints, like 5-7, we finished 9-8. That's how how Saints fans are saying that we improved late. That's what the Lions did in 2022, where they started off struggling and then they ended the season on a high note, still missing the playoffs, but giving their fans high hopes for their team next year. However, Saints fans are feeling like that, and the Lions did go to the NFC title game. What am I talking about? Where the Saints are crying out loud. But to be fair, they are the Lions. Okay, I'm losing track. So now, 2023 hits. Jared Goff starts beaming. 4,500 yards. 30 touchdowns. The first time he's ever got there. He threw 12 interceptions. But he not only won the Lions the NFC North, but then he was so electrifying that he even won a playoff game for the Lions. You know, that is tough to do. Then he won 2 playoff games for the Lions. Then in the NFC title game, he was this close away from beating the 49ers and advancing to his second career Super Bowl. But yeah, that's going to end the video, folks. I'll get back to making live recorded videos tomorrow. Friday. I'm making some more tomorrow. Hopefully. Like I said, I just got back. By the time you see this, I'm still probably going to be either in Georgia or on my way back from Georgia. So yeah, I'll leave you always with a who dat. And don't forget, never be a Falcons fan.